CBS News chief Washington correspondent and Face the Nation anchor, that's John Dickerson, joins us at the table to continue the discussion. Always good to see you, John Dickerson.
Good to see you, Gayle.
So you have Senator Scott there, then you had Senator Bob Corker say, in words that I think took many by surprise, that he doesn't think the president has demonstrated the stability or the competence to be successful in this job. This is a big deal. Why?
Well, two things. It's both who's saying the remarks and the nature of them. The first is that Senator Corker is not some hothead who's in the traditional kind of usual suspects category, who's always criticizing the president and everything he does. Senator Scott's not in that category either. So it's rare for him to criticize the president. They've golfed together. But also it's the nature of the critique, which is not just about the reaction to the events of Charlottesville, but it's a broader critique about the president's stability and the compatibility between his natural instincts and the job that he holds, and whether it's possible for him to fit those natural impulses into that job. And if this isn't solved, said Senator Corker, the country will be in great peril.
Are you hearing that others share this view, that are wondering about its stability?
They have shared that view in terms of the president's incompatibility with the office, but it's always been off the record, or they've said, you know, we hope things change, or maybe General Kelly as chief of staff will help, and so forth and so on. But this, to come out and say it in public and not just toss off a remark, this was obviously carefully considered and kind of a methodical critique.
The president's isolation grows. He's now insulted more Republicans, I think, this week than Democrats on his Twitter feed. Even within his own White House staff, the isolation grows. What does that mean for the consequences for the rest of his presidency? Can he stay in office for the next 3.5 years?
Well, absent some other event, you've got Republicans who would have to remove him from office. And while the president is quite isolated, as you point out, and that's going to have a real impact on his ability to get any legislation passed, there are a lot of people in the Republican Party who believe he is the victim of a pile-on by the media, started by the media and now joined by some people. And so there are some who say, you know, there's a dangerous world out there. And while we find the behavior of the president objectionable in places A, B, and C, he's still the president. There's still terrorists. There's still an Iran deal we don't like. North Korea's out there. We must rally behind him. And then there's a second group that says, you know, we must stay in the White House. We must support him because who knows what he'll do if there aren't people there to check him.
And you look at the polling, a decisive majority of Republicans support what he said about Charlottesville. The overwhelming majority of the Democrats disagree with what he said. So, again, the issue politicized.
Right. It sorts to where people were originally. But that's where somebody like Senator Corker matters, because he's breaking out of the usual trajectory these things go in. And that is what could, over time, shift the view of a president. But at the moment, people are pretty much sorting into where you sit is where you stand.
Let's talk about substance in terms of the decision this weekend at Camp David, Afghanistan. Big deal, as Margaret Brennan pointed out.
Big deal, and for two reasons. One, there is the big deal at the center of the policy. After 16 years, does America still have interest in Afghanistan, and is America willing to commit itself, a war-weary nation willing to commit itself to Afghanistan? But then it's also it's making the decision within the advisors the president has. There are obviously some real conflicts inside of his administration, conflicts within the president himself. He has said in these arguments, or it's been reported, why are we still there? On the other hand, he's taken a very strong line against terrorism. So this is a model for a complex decision to be made by the president in his administration, and whether he can make it effectively is one of the things somebody like Bob Corker worries about.
I'm thinking John will have a lot to discuss on Sunday.
Yeah.
That's right. So Sunday on Face the Nation, John will speak with Republican Senator Tim Scott of South Carolina and Democratic Senator Tim Kaine of Virginia. Looking forward to that conversation. That's Sunday here on CBS.
All right. Always lots to discuss with John Dickerson. Nice job on Colbert last night. We played a little clip. Good to see you.